ಪ್ರಭುತ್ವ ನಿಮ್ಮನ್ನು ಟಾರ್ಗೆಟ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ, ಅವರ ಬೆಂಬಲಿಗರು ಕಾಲಾಳುಗಳು ಕೂಡ ನಿಮ್ಮನ್ನು ಟಾರ್ಗೆಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ನಿಮ್ಮನ್ನು ಆ್ಯಂಟಿ ಹಿಂದೂ ಕೂಡ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಆ್ಯಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಜುಬೇರ್ ಏನು ಅಂತ?
Zubair is not against any religion. They cannot target alt news.
ಈ ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ಫೈಂಡಿಂಗ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳೋದು ನಿಮಗೆ ಆಸಕ್ತಿ ಯಾಕಾಯ್ತು? ನೀವೊಂದು ಇಂಜಿನಿಯರ್ ಪ್ರೊಫೆಷನಲ್ ಆಗಿ, ಏನು ಅಂತ?
People who've received the fake news on WhatsApp and Instagram and Telegram, other mediums, they will not receive this fact checks.
ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ಫೈಂಡಿಂಗ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಹೇಗೆ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಿ ಅಂದರೆ,
Many other news channels and news anchors, they're somehow trying to set the narrative.
ನೀವು ಧೈರ್ಯದಿಂದ ಇಂಥ ಕ್ಲಿಪ್ಪನ್ನು ಶೇರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಿ, ನಿಮಗೆ ಈ ಧೈರ್ಯ ಹೇಗೆ ಬಂತು ಅಂತ? ಅಂದರೆ ನಿಮಗೆ ಭಯ ಆಗಲ್ವಾ? ಪೊಲೀಸರು ಮತ್ತೆ ಕೇಸ್ ದಾಖಲಿಸ್ತಾರೆ, ಕೋರ್ಟಿಗೆ ಹೋಗಬೇಕು, ಕಷ್ಟ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ನೀವು ANI ಅನ್ನು ಟಾರ್ಗೆಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಿ ಅನ್ನೋ ಒಂದು ಅನುಮಾನ ಇದೆ.
Most of the fake news, political fake news is shared in North India.
ಸುಳ್ಳು ಸುದ್ದಿಗಳು ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇವೆ, ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ಫೈಂಡಿಂಗ್ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಇನ್ನಷ್ಟು ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ಫೈಂಡಿಂಗ್ ನಂಥ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಗಳು, ಆಲ್ಟ್ ನ್ಯೂಸ್ನಂಥ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಗಳು ಹೆಚ್ಚಾಗಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀರಾ?
Middle class family, we are not used to the police coming to my house for investigation.
ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲಿದ್ದವರು ಯಾಕಪ್ಪ ಈ ಬೆದರಿಕೆ ಗಲಾಟೆ ಅದಿದೆಲ್ಲ ಯಾಕೆ ಬೇಡಪ್ಪ, ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ಫೈಂಡಿಂಗ್ ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಬಿಡು ಅಂತ ಏನಾದರೂ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರ ಮನೆ?
One of the reason I'm here is because I love my country and love my society.
ವೀಕ್ಷಕರೇ, ಮುಹಮ್ಮದ್ ಜುಬೇರ್ ಅವರನ್ನು ನಿಮಗೆ ಪರಿಚಯಿಸಬೇಕಾಗಿಲ್ಲ. ವಿಜುವಲ್ ಮೀಡಿಯಾದಲ್ಲಿ ಅಥವಾ ಡಿಜಿಟಲ್ ಮೀಡಿಯಾದಲ್ಲಿ ಧ್ರುವರಾತಿ ಹೇಗೆ ಪ್ರಸಿದ್ಧರೋ ಅದೇ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಟ್ವೀಟ್ ದುನಿಯಾದಲ್ಲಿ ಮುಹಮ್ಮದ್ ಜುಬೇರ್ ಎಲ್ರಿಗೂ ಪರಿಚಿತ ಮತ್ತು ಪ್ರಸಿದ್ಧರು. ಇವರು ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ಫೈಂಡಿಂಗ್ ಕ್ಷೇತ್ರದಲ್ಲಿ ಇಂತಹ ಸಂಶೋಧನೆ ನಡೆಸಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದರೆ ಪ್ರಭುತ್ವ ಇವರ ಬೆನ್ನು ಬೀಳುತ್ತೆ, ಅವರ ಕಾಲಾಳುಗಳು ಕೂಡ ಬೆನ್ನು ಬೀಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಆಲ್ಟ್ ನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಅನ್ನುವ ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ಫೈಂಡಿಂಗ್ ಅಥವಾ ಸತ್ಯ ಶೋಧನೆಯ ವೆಬ್ ಪೋರ್ಟಲನ್ನು ಸ್ಥಾಪಿಸಿ ಅದರ ಮುಖಾಂತರ ನಿರಂತರ ಸತ್ಯ ಸುದ್ದಿಗಳನ್ನು, ಸುಳ್ಳನ್ನು ಬ್ರೇಕ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ಮತ್ತು ಸತ್ಯವನ್ನು ಕೊಡುವ ದೊಡ್ಡ ಮಟ್ಟದ ಕೆಲಸವನ್ನು ಇವರು ದೇಶದೆಲ್ಲೆಡೆ ನಡೆಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಇಂಗ್ಲೀಷ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಬಹಳ ಪಾಪ್ಯುಲರ್ ಆಲ್ಟ್ ನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಕೂಡ. ಆ ಕಾರಣದಿಂದಲೇ ಪ್ರಭುತ್ವ ಇವರ ಬೆನ್ನು ಬೀಳುತ್ತೆ. ಇವರ ಮೇಲೆ ಹಲವು ಪ್ರಕರಣಗಳನ್ನು ದಾಖಲಿಸಿದೆ. ವಿಶೇಷವಾಗಿ ಒಂದೆರಡು ಘಟನೆಗಳನ್ನು ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು. ನೂಪುರ್ ಶರ್ಮಾ ಪ್ರಕರಣದ ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ ಇವರನ್ನು ಪ್ರಭುತ್ವ ಟಾರ್ಗೆಟ್ ಮಾಡಿತ್ತು, ಜೈಲಿಗೆ ಹಾಕಿತ್ತು. ಒಂದು 25 ದಿನಗಳ ಕಾಲ ಇವರು ಜೈಲಲ್ಲಿದ್ದರು. ಸುಮಾರು 7-8 FIRಗಳನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ಈ ಪ್ರಭುತ್ವ ಅವರ ಮೇಲೆ ದಾಖಲಿಸಿತ್ತು. ಮೊನ್ನೆ ಯತಿ ನರಸಿಂಗಾನಂದ ಪ್ರಕರಣದಲ್ಲಿ ವಿಡಿಯೋ ಕ್ಲಿಪ್ ಒಂದು ಶೇರ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿಕೊಂಡು ಇವರನ್ನು ಪ್ರಭುತ್ವ ಮೊನ್ನೆ ಉತ್ತರ ಪ್ರದೇಶದ ಪೊಲೀಸರು ಕೂಡ ವಶಕ್ಕೆ ಪಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದರು. ಜಾಮೀನು ಸಿಕ್ಕಿತು, ಜಾಮೀನಲ್ಲಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಹಾಗೆ ಜಾಮೀನಲ್ಲಿ ಇರೋದು ಮಾತ್ರ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಇವತ್ತು ನಮ್ಮ ಜೊತೆ ಕೂಡ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಮುಹಮ್ಮದ್ ಜುಬೇರ್ ಅವರು. ಜುಬೇರ್, ನಿಮಗೆ ಈ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮಕ್ಕೆ ಸ್ವಾಗತ. ನಾನು ಅಲ್ಲಿಂದಲೇ ಪ್ರಾರಂಭಿಸ್ತೇನೆ. ಪ್ರಭುತ್ವ ನಿಮ್ಮನ್ನು ಟಾರ್ಗೆಟ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ, ಅವರ ಬೆಂಬಲಿಗರು ಕಾಲಾಳುಗಳು ಕೂಡ ನಿಮ್ಮನ್ನು ಟಾರ್ಗೆಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ನಿಮ್ಮನ್ನು ಆ್ಯಂಟಿ ಹಿಂದೂ ಕೂಡ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಆ್ಯಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಜುಬೇರ್ ಏನು ಅಂತ?
Zubair is not against any religion. If you see my tweets, any tweets say from 2017, I mean I've started my Twitter account from 2017 and even I was active on Facebook, and people who know me. I never indulged in religious hatred. It is me who also ask my followers not to do that. Generally at times it happens, it at times looks like somebody is like involved in such things, but I avoid that. People do that, I block them or at least do that. This is not me. I've been here even in my college, most of my colleagues, I mean you know, right, even in most of the I'm an engineer by profession. I've done my telecommunication. I've completed in 2005. So in there are very little Muslim people who get into professional qualification, which be it at least in Bangalore and other places. So I mean most of my friends were and even now till date many of my schoolmates and my college mates are we are in touch, and most of them are Hindus. I mean unlike what the perception is, that is Muslims. And if you see my tweets, it is never about the religion. Most of my tweets are about fact checks, but unfortunately the people who spread the misinformation bring a communal angle to it. I mean, for example, be it any video or image which they share, they somehow want to cook this up and present it as if it is against one religion or the other. There are a few people who do it from this side and there are people who do it from left and right, both. But I would say 90% of the cases, people who are supporters of current government or people from the right, they do it intentionally, at times maybe unintentionally, but most of the time the people who share the misinformation, that is intentionally, that is disinformation, they do it knowingly because they want the society to be divided. So calling them out, replying to their tweets, if that makes me anti-Hindu, so be it. I'm never anti-Hindu. there are many other cases wherein there are people from Muslim community who have indulged in fake news against Hindus or maybe other parties. We fact check that too. It is just that they somehow people in power, that is the BJP, the supporters of people in power, they know okay what we do, but they somehow want to present us as anti-Hindu. That is how they can bring somebody down. They don't have any facts to prove that, but they have come up with this propaganda saying they cannot target alt news because we most of the time we also write fact checks related to many other parties, many other religions, irrespective of religion or the party. But I mean, which is hurting them more. So one thing is like most of the people in power, spokesperson, you have MPs and MLAs and many other anchors, we fact check them. The only way they can target us, they obviously cannot target our articles or alt news as such. They have come up with a new idea of okay, they would not target my colleague, Mr. Pratik Sinha, because that will not be fruitful. So they have learned this. They are masters of this trick of targeting one individual based on his religion. And it is easier to prove a Muslim being an anti-Hindu. People would accept it easily. So I mean, in general, people in India are seculars of all religions. But then most these people, they are people who want to target me are slowly sowing the seeds of hatred. Maybe once they say it, he's anti-Hindu, he's anti-BJP, he would say, initially they would say anti-RSS and many other things, and slowly they'll build up this propaganda and they'll try to establish that I'm actually anti-Hindu. Later on they filed FIRs against me, they are like more than, not more than, at least 12 FIRs against me. Mostly in UP and also in Delhi and in Chhattisgarh, including total FIRs, 12 FIRs. And most of the cases they somehow try to prove that we as alt news get funds from say Dubai, some from funds from Saudi and many other Pakistan. They tried to prove that, but then I mean they could not prove that. So this is the perception they wanted to create. It is easier because we are a team of say 12 members, 15 members in alt news. I am the only Muslim figure there, and I mean if they have to target alt news, it is easier to target me because of my religion, so that they can bring alt news down.
ನೀವು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಟ್ವೀಟ್ ಅಕೌಂಟ್ಗೆ ಹೋದರೆ ರಾಶಿ ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ಫೈಂಡ್ ಸುದ್ದಿಗಳು ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಎಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲಿ ಏನೇನಾಗಿದೆ ಇವತ್ತು ನಿನ್ನೆ ಕೂಡ ನೋಡಿದ್ರು ಕೂಡ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ ನಿಮಗೆ. ಅಮ್ರೋಹನದ್ದು ನೀವು ಹಾಕಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಿಮಗೆ ಈ ಕ್ಷೇತ್ರ ಯಾಕೆ ಇಷ್ಟ ಆಯ್ತು ಅಂತ, ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಈ ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ಫೈಂಡಿಂಗ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳೋದು ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಆಸಕ್ತಿ ಯಾಕಾಯ್ತು? ನೀವೊಂದು ಇಂಜಿನಿಯರ್ ಪ್ರೊಫೆಷನಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಏನು ಅಂತ.
2005ನಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನು ಇಂಜಿನಿಯರಿಂಗ್ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದೆ. ಐ ಸ್ಟಡಿಡ್ ಇನ್ MS ರಾಮಯ್ಯ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಟೆಕ್ನಾಲಜಿ. ಅದಾದಮೇಲೆ ಐ ವರ್ಕ್ಡ್ ಇನ್ ನೋಕಿಯಾ ಫಾರ್ 10 years and also Cisco for a year and then ಏರ್ಟೆಲ್ನಲ್ಲಿ 2 years ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಿದೆ. ಅದಾದಮೇಲೆ 2014ನಲ್ಲಿ I was active in politics, as in as active in politics. I mean I was in I had interest in politics. In Delhi, I think in 2011 or 12, there was this unfortunate incident of Nirbhaya rape case, and it was emotional to many of the youths across India. So I was also involved. I mean, mentally, I was also disturbed by that. And slowly, we also, as many youngsters like me, started criticizing the government for their inactions, for slow actions, or maybe not treating the women properly, and whatever reason. And also during, there was this hype of saying corruption. We all thought it was the true thing, and then we all started following news channels and Facebook pages. Those days, Facebook pages were very important. I mean, many youngsters would follow Facebook pages. It was not Insta was not that active, but I started following a lot of Facebook pages which were political, and I had a lot of friends from Facebook then. But then after 2014, I slowly saw the drift of these Facebook pages of the admins. Slowly, people who used to criticize the current government, that is the central government, are after 2014 justifying whatever the current government is doing. So that disturbed me a little, and I think in 2014 I started a page called Unofficial Subramaniam Swami.
Oh, Unofficial Subramaniam Swami. Okay.
That was it was also called Susu Swami. It was a satirical page. Those days, I mean, there were very few pages on Facebook which were active, politically active. Mine was one. And in 2000, I also because I was working in Nokia, I used to travel a lot. I was in Finland, and maybe I also traveled to Japan and South Africa and multiple cities here in India. So I happened to meet Mr. Pratik Sinha, who is the co-founder also along with me with Alt News. So I followed his father's work, and he is a scientist, and later on he also became advocate, and he started taking up cases which were related to for people who are downtrodden people, some Mazdoor Yojana, and people from the from Muslim community during the 2002 riots. They fought a lot of cases against of the victims as pro bono. So I followed his father's work. So, and then I got to know Pratik is also running a page called Truth of Gujarat, which is who is Mukul Sinha's, that is his father's son. So that is when I interacted, because by then even my page was famous. People started following me. Even
unofficial
Subramanian Swamy started by that. So even Mr. Subramanian Swamy had he was very angry in 2014. He complained on Twitter, if the page is not taken down, I'll file a legal case against Facebook. So the next day, Facebook, instead of taking down my page, they took down his page. So that was like comedy of errors, and that is how my people started following my page, and luckily my page got famous by then. And as I said, I met Mr. Pratik Sinha in Gujarat multiple times. We had this interaction multiple times because we had good followers on Facebook. But we've been doing fact checks and also political commentary on Facebook. So we had this discussion, and we had this idea, okay, our followers are getting to know what we are tweeting. I think we'll have to expand it. And how do we expand it? One way of expanding is maybe have a website or maybe have a YouTube channel. Me and Pratik are not good at videos. I mean, at least I'm not good at videos. This is I think one of the first or second time I'm sitting in front of it in the video.
But bhala chennagi maatadtiri.
So in that way, so we came up with this, and that is how the idea of Alt News came in. That was in 2017 ನಾವು ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ. ಮುಂಚೆ ಫೇಸ್ಬುಕ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ಚೆಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ವಿ, ಬಟ್ ದೆನ್ 2017ನಲ್ಲಿ ಡೆಡಿಕೇಟೆಡ್ಲಿ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ.
ಅಲ್ಲ, ನಿಮಗೆ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಆಸಕ್ತಿ ಆ ಕಾರಣದಿಂದಾಗಿ ಬಂತು, ಫೇಕ್ ನ್ಯೂಸ್ಗಳು ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ,
ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇತ್ತು ಅಗೇನ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಕಮ್ಯುನಿಟಿ, ಅಗೇನ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಪೀಪಲ್ ಹೂ ಆರ್ ನಾಟ್ ಸಪೋರ್ಟಿವ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಗವರ್ಮೆಂಟ್. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಅನ್ಫಾರ್ಚುನೇಟ್ಲಿ ದೇ ವರ್ ನೋಬಡಿ ಹೂ ವುಡ್ actively burst the fake news. So it is not rocket science to burst fake news. It is just that you'll have to be aware of that. Maybe you'll have to be very aware, politically aware. You'll have to be regularly on social media to monitor what's happening. In that way, because I've been doing helping by Pratik how to debunk, how to do a reverse image, simple technology, simple use of
ನನಗೆ ಅದನ್ನೇ ಕೇಳಬೇಕಿತ್ತು. ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ಫೈಂಡಿಂಗ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಹೇಗೆ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಿ ಅಂದರೆ, ಮೊನ್ನೆ ನೀವು ಅಮ್ರೋನದ್ದೊಂದು ಹಾಕಿದ್ರಿ, ಒಂದು ವಿಡಿಯೋ ಹಾಕಿದ್ರಿ. ಅದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಮೊದಲು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಮ RJ ಕಾರ್ ಪಶ್ಚಿಮ ಬಂಗಾಳದ ಪ್ರಕರಣ, ಅದು ಅತ್ಯಾಚಾರ ಆದದ್ದು, ಹತ್ಯೆ ಆದದ್ದು, ಈ ಪ್ರಕರಣದ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಕೂಡ ನೀವು, ಅದು ಪಾಪ್ಯುಲರ್ ಕೂಡ ಆಗಿತ್ತು. ನಾನು ಕೂಡ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೆ ಚಾನೆಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ. ಸೊ ಹೇಗೆ ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ಫೈಂಡಿಂಗ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಗೆ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಿ? ನಮಗೆ ಅದನ್ನು ಗೊತ್ತಾಗಿ ಪಬ್ಲಿಕ್ಕಿಗೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಗೊತ್ತಾದ್ರೆ ಒಳ್ಳೆಯದು ಅಂತ ಅನಿಸುತ್ತೆ.
One thing, I was lucky because I have good number of followings from my Facebook days. That is Subramanian Swamy days. And there are a lot of well-wishers who would want, because I've been slowly also doing fact checks in my capacity, personal capacity. There are a lot of people who reach out to me on DMs or messages or WhatsApp asking me if it is true. Because I am very much active on social media, it is easier for me to relate it. Apart from that, we also have multiple, for example, if somebody shares a video, say for example, a one year video saying it is a 1 year video from Bangladesh, or maybe 1 year video from other states in India, and present it as if it is from Tamil Nadu or Karnataka, or maybe Mangalore here. It is easier for us to, because we couldn't relate, because we've been following that. Apart from that, we also break down the videos into small frames, and then we search the frame on Google image search, maybe Google Lens. There are few more websites called Yandex, few more Chinese websites wherein it will help us to find out where the location is. If it was anywhere used by the news channels. We also do this keyword search. At times we will not be able to find where exactly the situation is. For example, if there's, let's suppose there's a video viral of 2 women being beaten up, tied to the tree there are many such videos. What happens is, at times we will not be able to find out where the exact location is, where the video is, when the video was taken. So we'll somehow now try to find out using the keywords, seeing the visuals of the video. Matlab in Hindi, in English, in Kannada, at times different languages, we search for particular keywords. As for example, if it is in English, we'll say matlab women beaten with sticks, women beaten with whatever, tied to the rope, tied to the pole. With that, we'll definitely able to, we might get a clue when it was reported. If it was reported by mainstream media, it is easier for us. Then we'll try to, for example, if we find out that it is probably from Bihar or from UP, we'll find out when it was reported, and then we'll try to get in touch with the police, local police there, activists there, journalists, local journalists there, and that is how we try to find out. And we also get a statement from police. So what was the matter? I mean, we don't only rely on police statements at times, because if police is also involved, they might not give a proper statement. If it is police is not involved in that particular case, we take police statement as truth most of the time. But then if police is also somehow involved in that particular crime directly or indirectly, we also take statements from local journalists, local reporters, and that is how our thing works. And the way we get is, thankfully, because I have a lot of followers, we've also shared our WhatsApp number to made it publicly. There are a lot of incoming messages asking to fact check this, asking us to fact check videos, images. That way we get a lot of requests, and many also DM me personally, because I have a good number of following on Twitter. So I follow all the tweets, I follow all the DMs, I follow all the WhatsApp messages. Time consuming, but I think it is important. Yeah.
ನೀವು ಅಮ್ರೋಹ ಪ್ರಕರಣ ಒಂದು ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ನಿನ್ನೆ ಟ್ವೀಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರಿ.
Amroha, I got a tweet, I got a message from person saying, there was a video about Amroha, an incident in Amroha where a boyfriend was seen beating up his, I don't know if it was his girlfriend or one-sided love, but he was seen beating up in front of the complete public. And that particular video was taken up on social media, and it was shown as if this is like communally motivated love jihad, the famous term they use, love jihad anta ತೋರಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು. ಅವ್ರು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು, ಇದು boy is from Muslim community and the girl is from the Hindu community, and people seeing the video are not even reacting just because Muslim community is so powerful. They don't even care for the public, and he's openly beating out the Hindu girl in the public. And we got to know, we searched for that video, and we got clue that it happened in Amroha, but we did not, because the police did not reveal the detail of the religious detail of the accused and the victim. So then we got to know it was from Amroha. Then we later on saw a few reports. We did not get the details about his name. Then we contacted the police. We asked for the FIR, which was filed, FIR copy, in which it was mentioned. We also checked with the police, also asked, verified with the police, asking if there is any communal angle. So we do a multiple type of search. For example, verifications, one from the police, one from the reports, and if possible even from the journalists. So this incident was, unfortunate incident where a boy beat up a girl. That was completely communalized, and they somehow tried to portray a community, make it that actually sells. If somebody just shares the video saying this has happened, nobody would retweet it. People are interested in such masala stories, wherein if you say a Hindu guy has beaten up a Muslim girl, or vice versa, Muslim guy has beaten up, that will actually grow most hormones in people. They tend to share more emotionally within the community, or maybe that is how it is. And unfortunately, hate sells faster than anything. So
ನನಗೆ ಮನೆ ಯತಿ ನರಸಿಂಗಾನಂದ ಅವರೊಂದು ಭಾಷಣ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು. ಅದರ ಒಂದು ಕ್ಲಿಪ್ಪನ್ನು ನೀವು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಪೇಜಲ್ಲಿ ಶೇರ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರಿ. ಆ ಹಿನ್ನೆಲೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮೇಲೆ FIR ಆಯಿತು, ಪೊಲೀಸರು ವಶಕ್ಕೆ ಪಡ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರು ಮತ್ತು ಜಾಮೀನಲ್ಲಿದ್ದೀರಿ. ಅದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಮೊದಲು ನೂಪುರ್ ಶರ್ಮಾ ಅವರ ಕ್ಲಿಪ್ ಶೇರ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಕ್ಕೂ ಕೂಡ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮೇಲೆ ಎಲ್ಲರ ಕಣ್ಣು ಕೆಂಪಾಗಿತ್ತು. ಪೊಲೀಸರು FIR ಎಲ್ಲ ದಾಖಲಿಸಿದ್ರಿ, ಎಲ್ಲ ಹೌದು. ಆದರೆ ಈ ನರಸಿಂಗಾನಂದ ಪ್ರಕರಣದ ಬಳಿಕ ನೀವು ಪೊಲೀಸರ ವಶಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗಿ ಮರಳಿ ಜಾಮೀನು ಸಿಕ್ಕಿ ಹೊರಬಂದ ಬಳಿಕ ಸಂಜಯ್ ಗಾಯಕ್ವಾಡ್ ಅವರ ಒಂದು ಕ್ಲಿಪ್ ಅನ್ನ ಶೇರ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರಿ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಒಂದ್ ಕಡೆ ಪೊಲೀಸರು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮೇಲೆ ಕೇಸ್ ದಾಖಲಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ಇನ್ನೊಂದ್ ಕಡೆ ನೀವು ಧೈರ್ಯದಿಂದ ಇಂಥ ಕ್ಲಿಪ್ ಅನ್ನ ಶೇರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಿ. ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಈ ಧೈರ್ಯ ಹೇಗೆ ಬಂತು ಅಂತ? ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಭಯ ಆಗಲ್ವಾ? ಪೊಲೀಸರು ಮತ್ತೆ ಕೇಸ್ ದಾಖಲಿಸ್ತಾರೆ, ಕೋರ್ಟ್ಗೆ ಹೋಗಬೇಕು, ಕಷ್ಟ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ.
Okay, first thing, small correction. In 2022, when there were FIR against me, there were multiple FIRs against me. This happened obviously after the Nupur Sharma video, which went viral, which I shared it. It happened after that, but it was, the FIRs were not because of Nupur Sharma. I mean, that was a different incident. But then, yeah, there were people from the right who were angry. I mean, if you see my tweet, never in my tweet I have mentioned about the BJP spokesperson, that is Nupur Sharma's name. I was little disturbed because the anchor of such a big news channel, that is Times Now, being responsible, I mean, you should be a responsible anchor. You should not allow any spokesperson from this party or from that party to target any religion or religious figure. Which unfortunately the anchor did that. They should have stopped it. I mean, obviously political parties and political spokesperson at times go overboard and they try to communalize, maybe target one religion or target one political party. But you as an anchor or anybody as an anchor, it is your responsibility or your role to stop them from doing so. Or even if they have done it, you have to at least cut them out or maybe apologize later on and say, okay, this is maybe unintentional. And because the news channel and one of the biggest news anchors and biggest news channels showing that was a little disturbing, which is what I mentioned in my tweet. I've never mentioned the spokesperson, that is Nupur Sharma's name. Definitely there was her clip, but then I also mentioned about the anchor. So yeah, but then that went viral and there were many protests in India and even outside India. And but then they had people from the right had in mind, they'll have to target me. So what they did was they took out my older tweet from 2018. And they somehow tried to show that I am actually anti-Hindu. I mean, that was all satire. They somehow tried to prove that I am anti-Hindu, which is not true. And that happened in 2002. And since then, I mean, as fact checkers, as alt news, in alt news, we don't just do fact checks. We also document hate crimes across India, and we also document people who, one is hate crimes, for example, cow is jalante, cow hatya agtadalla. We document that. Even in Karnataka, there is one person called Puneet Kareli and all that. And there were a lot of people. They got this inspiration from people in Haryana, people in Punjab, people in UP, because that is how to easiest way to get fame.
Monu Mane sir.
Monu Mane sir. I mean, he's after our multiple articles, he is now in jail too. It is like they are all their inspirations. It is easier to get fame, easier to get more and more money. That way, people are very emotional, right? But cow is very a sacred animal here in India, and it's people do believe it here, and you showing it as if somebody is doing this and we are doing. I mean, that is how they collect money also. So it's easier way for them in north. Now people in south have also slowly started. Maybe not many, but there are few elements who started all this. So and that is it. And then we also document hate crimes. We also document hate speeches by political leaders and prominent people. So which is what we as alt news do. As I as an alt news member also do that on my Twitter. But then when alt news writes an article, it is maybe not, they don't have outrage, but when I tweet that, because I have more following and it's easier for me for them to target me because of, for whatever reasons, they do that. And we've been documenting hate crimes of Yati. There was this Dharam Sansad in Haridwar, wherein not everybody who are secular. I mean, the main agenda there was to target one particular community at a time. That was Muslim community, and nobody had covered that. And it was me and few of my friends who had covered that, and we highlighted that, and that became a national issue. In fact, international issue. People, they called for genocide from the speeches. They wanted to finish the constitution. They claim they don't believe in constitution. There are many outrageous things, not just about Muslims, but they also said about other things. For example, they also said Mr. Abdul Kalam, the ex-president Rashtrapati ji, was like, he is a jihadi. He was like father of Pakistan, not India. I mean, they've talked about Mr. Shivaji Maharaj. They've talked against other Rajput leaders, Maharana Pratap. They said that he is like coward. He is like, I mean, many such things. But unfortunately, they would not pick that up. I have highlighted even that. They've also spoken against BJP women. These people, for example, Mr. Yati Narsinghanan, he's also spoken about BJP women. It's just that they don't want to highlight that. When I highlight that, I mean, they cannot say anything. But in a way, they would want to somehow, again, push me back. They would do. They file more and more FIRs. There was no there was an FIR against him, but there was, I personally feel there was, I mean, they have filed, but then no results. He's continuously giving more and more hate speeches, which unfortunately the current administration should have been more responsible and should have taken action against him, legal action against him. And unfortunately, he's giving more and more hate speeches, and which we've been documenting. Documenting is also very important, which we've been doing. And for doing so, unfortunately, they are targeting people who document hate crimes, document hate speeches.
ಯಾರನ್ನ ಟಾರ್ಗೆಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಿತ್ತು ಅವ್ರನ್ನ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ
ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ.
ಯಾರು ಸತ್ಯ ಹೇಳಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಟ್ರೈ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅವ್ರನ್ನ ಟಾರ್ಗೆಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ.
There's one famous R.K. Narayan's cartoon wherein police would seen picking up people who are fact checking or who are bringing news to the people. So that is how it is.
ಇದು ಓಕೆ. ಈ ಇದು ಸುಳ್ಳು ಸುದ್ದಿ ಮತ್ತು ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ಫೈಂಡಿಂಗ್ ಇವುಗಳು ಹೇಗಿವೆ ಅಂದರೆ, ಸುಳ್ಳು ಸುದ್ದಿಗಳು ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇವೆ, ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ಫೈಂಡಿಂಗ್ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಇನ್ನಷ್ಟು ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ಫೈಂಡಿಂಗ್ ನಂಥ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಗಳು, ಆಲ್ಟ್ ನ್ಯೂಸ್ ನಂಥ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಗಳು ಹೆಚ್ಚಾಗಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀರಾ? ಹೇಗಿದೆ ಅಂತ? ಸುಳ್ಳು ಸುದ್ದಿಗಳ ಜಗತ್ತು ಹೇಗಿದೆ, ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ಫೈಂಡಿಂಗ್ ಜಗತ್ತು ಹೇಗಿದೆ ಅಂತ?
I would say 99:1 or even more. I mean,
fact finding is 1%.
1% or even lesser. Unfortunately, the fake news travel faster than anything else. I mean, because when you share a fake news, you involve emotional messages. You try to trigger religious connotation in that, and that will appeal to people. Even if they think it logically, okay, just by reading that message, they are so emotional, without even thinking twice, they would maybe send it to their friends or family, be it from any religion, be it from Muslim religion or any religion. They, if you say, for example, if you share any message in Muslim group saying a Hindu boy was like seen with a Muslim girl running away or whatever, with some emotional messages, they also feel bad and they also share that to multiple their personal groups. Same way with other religions. So people from the right wing have caught this trend, and they know how it sells. So they pick up any videos, multiple videos from other locations and try. For example, if there is election here in Karnataka, they would pick up videos from multiple locations, images from multiple locations, somehow link it to the politics here and emotionally present it. It is easier for people to fall for it. So, for example, if by the time we write fact checks, it will be, say, one day at times. Maybe by the time it reaches it will be one day. By the time we write and publish articles, it will be another day. And people who've received the fake news on WhatsApp and Instagram and Telegram or other mediums, they will not receive this fact checks. Right? It is not easier to send the fact checks at the same pace. So very people who are aware, who are eager to know what is the fact behind the fake news, they try to find out, but then the scope is very limited. And one more thing, as you asked, like what are the number of, should we increase the number of fact checkings? We do have to, but currently there are a lot of fact checking units. I mean, you'll be surprised, there are a lot of fact checking units, but you'll hardly see them fact checks. For example, there is India Today. There is many newsrooms also have the separate fact checking unit, and they have this. Most of them do it because they are tied up with Facebook. Facebook has this idea of they wanted fact checking partners until recently, so they would probably give X amount of money for them to fact check and publish the articles. And people want the donations, want the funds from the Facebook, which is why they have created one more fact checking unit apart from their editorial team, a regular news channel, so that they can get the funds from there. Most of the fact checking websites, except for like say Alt News and Boom, are also doing good work. A few more, but most of them do that. They fact check if it is not political. Though most of the fake news is political, but then they would wanted to avoid that, and they don't do any political fake news, and they don't name people who share the fake news, just to put it on Facebook. And because they are tied up with this Facebook, they do this and they get enough money. Unfortunately for them now, they were 2 days back, Mr. Mark Zuckerberg from Facebook, after this Trump government was re-elected, he gave out a statement saying we are now not going to support any fact checkers. So which is like, we are anyways not, we don't get funds from Facebook. we didn't want to be in partnership with Facebook, because once you are in partnership with Facebook, once you start getting their donations or their grants, you cannot fact check them, you cannot call them out, because as a platform, it is the responsibility of Facebook and responsibility of many others, for example, Twitter and YouTube, to not amplify the content, the fake news or disinformation content. Unfortunately, they were not able to stop it, which is why they did this PR with other fact checking bodies. They spent money just to prove, okay, we are doing good in this. And so now a lot of fact checking websites will probably go down, because they start getting funds from Facebook. We totally are, as alt news, are totally dependent
ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಬಹಳ ನಿಲ್ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ನೀವು ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ಫೈಂಡಿಂಗ್ ಅಂತೂ ನಿಲ್ 1% ಗಿಂತ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಇದೆ. ಸುಳ್ಳು ಸುದ್ದಿಗಳು ಜಗತ್ತಿನಾದ್ಯಂತ ಹರಡ್ತಾ ಇದೆ.
ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇದೆ.
ಎಸ್, ನನಗೆ ನೀವು ANI ಅನ್ನ ಟಾರ್ಗೆಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಿ ಅನ್ನೋ ಒಂದು ಅನುಮಾನ ಇದೆ. ಯಾಕಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಹೆಚ್ಚಿನ ಬಾರಿ ನೀವು ANI ಅನ್ನು ಇವರು ಹೆಸರು ರಿವೀಲ್ ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ, ಇವರು ಹಾಗೆ ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ನಿನ್ನೆ ಕೂಡ ಈ ಗಾಯಕ್ವಾಡ್ ವಿಡಿಯೋದ ವಿಷಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂಡ ನೀವು ANI ಏನು ಅಂತ ವಿಷಯ ಹೇಳಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೀರಿ. ಯಾಕೆ ANI ನಿಮಗೆ ಇಷ್ಟು ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ದ್ವೇಷ ಏನಾದರೂ ಇದೆಯಾ, ಯಾಕೆ ಅಂತ?
See, ANI is one of the biggest news agencies in India. I mean, earlier it was DD would be the first one to get any coverage. I mean, for example, if you have to cover Prime Minister or any private event or meeting any government, it was always say DD News. But for some reason, I personally feel, I mean, but then ANI started getting more and more things. It was only exclusively ANI who would cover that. Most of the statement from the government, from the political party, that is the BJP political party or spokesperson, it would always first come to ANI. And if, for example, Smita Prakash is the editor-in-chief, also from my same state. So she's the editor-in-chief. I've been following ANI because they also have a lot of followers. ANI agency, they just don't tweet and they just don't report. Most of their articles, if ANI has covered an article, an incident, it will most probably be covered by most of the news channels, national news channels, and also regional news channels. So the way they cover is very important, because for example, not just the tweet, even the coverage of all ANI is very important. The way the narrative setting is very important, because their news channel, their news is being replicated by many other news channels and news anchor. They're somehow trying to set the narrative. So in that way, if you, for example, I mean, I have a lot of problems with ANI in the news, the way they should, the way they report. I mean, nothing personal against the editor-in-chief or anybody, but then the way they report, the way they target one particular community, or the way they support one particular political party, the way they promote one political leader and the other leaders, local leaders, is like I feel is problematic. And you are a news agency, you are not a PR agency, right? PR is like, okay, theek hai. As BJP IT cell head, say Mr. Amit Malviya, he has every right to promote, say Mr. Annamalai, he has every right to promote Latha from Hyderabad, anybody, because he's being paid for that.
Madhavi Latha.
Madhavi Latha. And he's being paid for that. He's hired for that. You are one of the biggest leading South Asia's news agency. You doing all that is not right. And most of the time, if they have to do narrative settings, even in Karnataka, anywhere and everywhere, they somehow try to set the narrative in favor of, I personally feel, in favor of the BJP. Maybe they can deny that, but is what I've observed. With all my experiences, which is probably why I, even if it is any incident unfortunate has happened, say in Karnataka, because if it was BJP, they would somehow try to avoid reporting. If it is about opposition, if the state is ruled by opposition parties, they would be the first persons to amplify that content. They would be the first persons to amplify the video, and then once they amplify the video, they would go to multiple spokesperson asking for their comment, and that itself will become one news. For example, one incident, if it is in BJP ruled state, they'll probably report and they'll leave it at that. And the same incident happens in non-BJP ruled state, they'll probably report about that incident and also get bites from say 150 odd people asking about that incident. So that there's more there's more and more discussion about that, more and more people know about it, and more news is being reported on that. So I have fundamental problem with that, and also about the way they report, if it is communal, if it is the way they use names, if it is if the accused is a Muslim, the way they mention the names, the way they avoid mentioning the names, the way they not report when if it is non-Muslim, and again there are so many other things, which is probably it. I personally feel it is important to highlight that. At times they've also shared misinformation, disinformation, but then I personally feel ANI is running a propaganda which is for the current government, pro BJP
ನೀವು
government.
ಹೀಗೆ ಟ್ವೀಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಸ್ಮಿತಾ ಪ್ರಕಾಶ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು ಯಾರಾದರೂ ನಿಮ್ಮನ್ನು ಕಾಂಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗ್ತಾರಾ, ನೋಡಿ ನಾವು ಹಾಗೆ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಲ್ಲ, ನೀವು ತಪ್ಪಾಗಿ ವ್ಯಾಖ್ಯಾನ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಿ ಅಂತ ಏನಾದರೂ ಹೇಳಿದಾರಾ ಅಂತ?
No, aganta helilla sadyake, but then they might. I think 3 years back I got a call from somebody from ANI.
Okay.
Because I've been doing that from 2-3 years. I'm forgetting his name, but he got a call. I got a call. He by then I had not shared my contact number with anybody, like how I'm sharing it now. I got a call saying, "Are you Zubair?" I said, "Yes, I'm from ANI so and so." He said his position, I don't remember. So no, he just somehow indirectly warned me, not directly warned, but indirectly warned me. I know I've been looking your tweets. Be careful. I mean, this is what he said, and he thought, okay, I'll calm down. But I've and then they also there are many times like where whenever I call them out, I say I reply to them, this is fake or maybe this is misleading. They have taken down their tweets because I mean because of the embarrassment they face. Yeah.
ಓಕೆ, ನೀವು ಶೇರ್ ಮಾಡುವಂಥ ಸುಳ್ಳು ಸುದ್ದಿಗಳಿವೆ, ಅಂದರೆ ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ಫೈಂಡಿಂಗ್ ಇದೆ, ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಉತ್ತರ ಭಾರತದ್ದು ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಅಂದರೆ ದಕ್ಷಿಣ ಭಾರತದಲ್ಲಿ ಅಂಥ ಸುದ್ದಿಗಳನ್ನು ಬಹಳ ಕಡಿಮೆ ನೀವು ಶೇರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಿ ಅಂತ ನಾನು ಭಾವಿಸ್ತೇನೆ. ದಕ್ಷಿಣ ಭಾರತದಲ್ಲಿ ಸುಳ್ಳು ಸುದ್ದಿಗಳು ಇಲ್ವಾ ಅಥವಾ ಪಾಪ್ಯುಲರ್ ಉತ್ತರ ಭಾರತದ ಏನು ಅಂತ?
ಅಂದರೆ ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಫೇಕ್ ನ್ಯೂಸ್, ಪೊಲಿಟಿಕಲ್ ಫೇಕ್ ನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಈಸ್ ಶೇರ್ಡ್ ಇನ್ ನಾರ್ತ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ, ಎಸ್ಪೆಷಲಿ from the Hindi belt, that is UP, Madhya Pradesh and all. I mean, especially political misinformation, because it is easier. They think it is easier to share misinformation from there. It is not like it is not happening here in Karnataka or Tamil Nadu or Kerala or Andhra. It does happen. It also depends on, for example, if there are elections, for example, Nanjegowda, Urigoda, there was some fake news, and many related fake news was shared here, but that is during the election time. But most of the cases which we share, it happens here, but most of the time it is during election times. But then in north, in other states, it is 247. It is 24/7. Yeah, is what I feel.
ಸೊ ಓಕೆ, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಪರ್ಸನಲ್ ನಾನು ಕೇಳಿಲ್ಲ, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾರ್ಯಾರೆಲ್ಲ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ಮತ್ತು ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲಿದ್ದವ್ರು ಯಾಕಪ್ಪ ಈ ಬೆದರಿಕೆ ಗಲಾಟೆ ಅದಿದೆಲ್ಲ ಯಾಕೆ ಬೇಡಪ್ಪ, ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ಫೈಂಡಿಂಗ್ ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಬಿಡು ಅಂತ ಏನಾದರೂ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರ ಮನೆ?
ಸದ್ಯಕ್ಕೆ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ. ಎಸ್ಪೆಷಲಿ ಮೈ ಮದರ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಫಾದರ್, ದೇ ಆಲ್ವೇಸ್ ಆಸ್ಕ್ ಮೀ ಟು ಕ್ವಿಟ್ ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ಚೆಕಿಂಗ್. Not because they don't want me to work, not because they don't like this, but because they are scared for my life. They are scared for, I mean, because I also have kids, small kids. We are a joint family, we stay together. So every now and then there is one FIR in UP, one FIR in Delhi. I'll have to go there, travel there, file for, have to run behind the court asking for relief. The police would call me for investigation. I have to give the mobile phones, so I mean, this is like cumbersome. It's like police would come down to my house for arrest or maybe to give notice. So this is very disturbing. Maybe I'm used to it or not, but then it is very disturbing. As like middle class family, we are not used to the police coming to my house for investigation. Even if the police passes by, especially in be it in Karnataka and any region, like even some, especially in the middle class, even if the police is passing by your house, you have that fear, what if he comes to my house? So that fear is particularly there. But I think they have also accepted the fact that it is not easier for me to now step back. They've tried a lot, try ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ, ಅದು ಬಿಡ್ಬಿಡು, you can maybe join engineering professional, you were in Japan, you were in many other countries, you had very good life, travel ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ವಿ, all of a sudden you've now landed here in alt news and more troubles. But then I think I'm not now, though I have worked in software industry for 12-13 years, I'm enjoying what I'm doing here.
Okay.
I have the satisfaction that I'm doing something for the society. I mean, yes, there are people who abuse me for whatever reason, maybe for political benefit, but they also know that what I'm doing is not wrong. They might have opinions that maybe he's only fact checking BJP or he's not doing that. They can have that opinion because I do, but then I know what I'm doing. But it's just that because of political reasons, they are targeting me. They are trying to prove I am anti-Hindu, I am anti maybe India, even anti-India is what they try to see. I mean, if I was, I mean, really that way, I would not have joined alt news to try my best or try my as much as possible to improve the society, to get facts to the society. So I could have maybe continued doing my engineering, continued my software job and maybe settled outside. So one of the reason I'm here is because I love my country and love my society, which is why I want to contribute. I mean, small contribution from my side. So is what I wanted to be part of.
ಕೊನೆಯದಾಗಿ ನಮ್ಮ ವೀಕ್ಷಕ ಬಳಗದಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಅಭಿಮಾನಿಗಳು ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ನಿಮ್ಮ ವಿರೋಧಿಗಳು ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ಇಬ್ಬರಿಗೆ ಏನು ಹೇಳ್ತೀರಿ ಅಂತ?
So I personally feel, as I mean, I was also discussing with one of my colleague, we Indians, be it and from any religion, are very secular by nature. We are very accepting, be it from Muslim community, Christian community, Hindu community, we are all accepting. Unfortunately, there are a few elements who have been trying for years, decades, to somehow divide us all. I mean, they were not successful, but slowly they have become successful, all thanks to social media. It's easier now. People, initially it was not very easier, but our community or maybe anybody in India, it's not very, it is like very, the WhatsApp or maybe the fake messages or even the communal overtone messages, people are not ready to take it. It is not easier for them to judge if it is true or not. So it is all new to us, but slowly people would understand this is all propaganda. Slowly people would be educated about what is fake news and what is propaganda by the government for the political benefits. They would probably do it. And as individual citizens, as responsible citizens, because the other side is trying to divide us, it is for us to somehow try and bring the brotherhood and maybe try not to divide the people. For example, I'm probably trying to do a little by saying this is the fact, this is not what it is. So I think we'll have to stop dividing ourselves. Even if you get any fake news, even if you feel like, even if you have the urge to share the fake news or share the WhatsApp message, sit maybe think for maybe 2-3 seconds, read about it again and see what benefit are you gaining by sharing that fake news or sharing that any video. So especially if it is triggering, I'm sure if you just think, say for 10-15 seconds, you'll stop doing that. And that way you are also stopping spreading this misinformation. Not just misinformation, even if the incident is true, I would urge people not to share it randomly with people, because that will bring emotions and they would, I think that is one of the thing which I would say. And unfortunately from past few years our society is divided thanks to WhatsApp mostly, I would say. But I think I just hope and I truly believe this will will regroup again, and this the forces who are trying to divide us will be unsuccessful very soon again.
ಓಕೆ ಜುಬೇರ್, ತುಂಬ ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ಸ್. ತುಂಬ ಮಾತುಗಳನ್ನು, ತುಂಬ ಅನುಭವಗಳನ್ನು ನಮ್ಮ ಜೊತೆ ಹಂಚ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀರಿ. ವಿಶೇಷವಾಗಿ ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ಫೈಂಡಿಂಗ್ ಕ್ಷೇತ್ರದಲ್ಲಿ ಬಹಳ ದೊಡ್ಡ ಚರ್ಚೆಗಳೇನು ನಾವು ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ, ಇಲ್ಲೂ ಕೂಡ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ, ಆದರೆ ಹಲವು ಹೊಳಹುಗಳನ್ನು ನೀವು ನಮ್ಮ ಜೊತೆ ಹಂಚಿಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀರಿ. ತುಂಬ ತುಂಬ ಧನ್ಯವಾದ.
ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ಸೋ ಮಚ್.
ವೀಕ್ಷಕರೇ, ಸುಳ್ಳು ಸುದ್ದಿಯ ಕಾರ್ಖಾನೆಯೇ ನಮ್ಮ ನಡುವೆ ಸ್ಥಾಪನೆಯಾಗಿದೆ ಮತ್ತು ಸ್ಪ್ರೆಡ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಇದರ ನಡುವೆ ಕುಳಿತು ಈ ಸುಳ್ಳನ್ನು ಬಿಡಿಸುವ ಮತ್ತು ಸತ್ಯವನ್ನು ಹೇಳುವ ದೊಡ್ಡದೊಂದು ಪ್ರಯತ್ನವನ್ನು ಜುಬೇರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ನೀವು ಅವರ ಟ್ವೀಟ್ ಅಥವಾ ಎಕ್ಸ್ ಖಾತೆಯನ್ನು ಫಾಲೋ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದರೆ 1.2 ಮಿಲಿಯನ್ ಫಾಲೋವರ್ಸ್ಗಳು ಕೂಡ ಇವರಿಗೆ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂಡ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅಂತೂ ನಮ್ಮ ಜೊತೆ ಒಂದಷ್ಟು ಹೊತ್ತು ಅವ್ರ ಜೊತೆ ಮಾತಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಮತ್ತು ಪೂರ್ಣವಾಗಿ ಮತ್ತು ಅವರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಏನೇನೆಲ್ಲ ತಪ್ಪು ಅಭಿಪ್ರಾಯಗಳಿವೆ ಅವುಗಳ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಕೂಡ ಅವರು ಉತ್ತರವನ್ನು ನೀಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಇದು ಈ ಹೊತ್ತಿನ ವಿಶೇಷ. ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮದೊಂದಿಗೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಬಳಿಗೆ ಬರ್ತೇವೆ. ಅಲ್ಲಿವರೆಗೆ ವೀಕ್ಷಿಸ್ತಾ ಇರಿ ಸನ್ಮಾರ್ಗ ನ್ಯೂಸ್, ಸುದ್ದಿಗಳ ಸಂತೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಸತ್ಯದ ಮೊಂಬತ್ತಿ.